We play.
We fight.
We conquer.
Welcome to the Freak Show. I am your host, Bumpy McSquigums, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we embark upon a new journey. Something that I have been wanting to do for a very, very long time. I have picked up and collected many of these games over the years, and I've fiddled with a few of them and tried them out, and so far, all of the ones that I've played and checked out, I have enjoyed. I think there's one or two that I don't have yet, and that's about it. But either way, I was a big fan of Sword Art Online, the show, the anime, and as a result, I, of course, grabbed some of these games over the years, and I was like, I'm a content creator. I like to bring folks along on my experiences. So I kind of dabbled and was like, yeah, I could do this. And then I just never really found the time because these are games that I really want to be able to kind of lock in on, focus on, and play through. So that's what we're going to start here today. So we're starting with, to the best of my knowledge, this is what I can tell. This is after like the first season of where Sword Art Online ended. And this is supposed to be a continuation of that. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So this is Sword Art Online Re-Hollow Fragment by Acuria Co. Limited and Bandai Namco, released onto PC on August 28th, 2018. Now, if I recall the little bit that I've looked up about this, again, for play order purposes and such as well, this was originally a PSP game that was remastered into something, maybe a PlayStation 3 game or something. Or, yeah, something like that. I'm not sure. It was remastered, and then it was, this is a porting of the remastered version of the game. And it's available on, like, PlayStation 4 and, PC and all that stuff. So, yeah. So this is, I'm going to assume, probably quite a bit older than, like, the original Sword Art Online Hollow Fragment, or I think it was called something else, like Infinity Muffins or something. I don't know. Anyway, that original game is probably quite old, considering it was PSP era. So, yeah. Anyway, let's begin. Sorry. I'm hoping my controller works. I fiddled around with this a little earlier to see what I needed to do and whatnot, and it took me a while. I had to go into Steam Big Picture mode and all sorts of stuff to get my controller to work correctly. So let's hope it's working now. And we will see. Link start. Alright, I am going to be reading everything, so you guys are just going to have to accept it and move on. Because, yeah, it's all in Japanese. It's something I kind of wish didn't happen, but, it is what it is. Alright, accessing beta data. Please confirm data and press OK if there are no issues. Alright, we'll just stay as the main character. Kirito. Yep. I'm not going to change any of this stuff. Logging in using selected character data. I mean, we could have modified it and made it our own, but Welcome to Sword Art Online. Hollow area, December 2024. See, it's in the future. So it could still happen. Oh. Uh-oh. Surprise! Oh, that's some force transfer. Oh. Well, that can't be good. An orange player. Who are you? Me? Who are you? I don't think it much matters. Because that's the thing. What's up? That does look pretty terrifying. A Skull Reaper? That's the boss that slaughtered most of the assault team back on the 75th floor. What's it doing here? Damn, I thought I'd given that thing the slip. I guess I got no choice but to take it on. Hey, you there! Do monsters like this usually appear around here? I'm not interested in talking to the likes of you. The likes of you? I think you've made some kind of mistake. Watch out! Why are you... I'm able to deal with that thing by myself. Its parameters must be lower than they were back on the 75th floor. Still, I seriously doubt it's the kind of opponent that'll just let us slip away without a fight. Listen, it seems like you're able to fight a bit. Nani. Nani are you talking about? What are you talking about? How about we put aside our differences until we've got that thing out of the way? Why do you think I joined forces with... I'll deal with its sickle blade. You attack it from the sides. Why would you help me? How do you know I won't just stab you in the back? Maybe you will. I've got no idea. But you want to live, right? And if you do, then we've got to beat this thing. I guess this goes without saying, but I don't want to die either. Okay. I'll help you. Just this once. Thanks. Now let's do this. Okay. Tap circle for chain burst attacks. Alright, and then it explains, if you press circle to attack, this is a good sign because when I originally did it, it didn't show me any button prompts, and I was like, oh, press blank for attack. I was like, well, that's helpful. So this is encouraging, at least. Press circle at precisely the right time to unleash, or to combine powerful burst attacks and unleash burst chains. Chain strikes inflict heavier damage on foes and boost the power of the final sword skill. Your enemies won't know what hit them. A little slow on my dodge. There we go. So I was able to time that okay. Oh, deep impact was cancelled because he kind of mollywopped us a little bit. I was able to parry the unbeatable quick step. Though brief, these movements allow temporary invulnerability and can be used to nullify many different kinds of actions. I'm reading the top thing at first. Move while pressing the X button to perform a quick step dodge. You'll be invulnerable to enemy strikes for a very short period. It's your iframes for those of you scoring at home. Note that you cannot perform quick steps if your burst gauge is drained, which is our gauge in the middle at the bottom there, the yellow/red bar. Combine burst attacks and quick steps to give yourself an edge in battle. Alright. Okay, she switched. Switch to reset risk. I did that already. Your current level of risk will have an impact on your burst gauge. So, you see at the picture there at the bottom, risk 5 is your maximum risk gauge. Or risk gauge, I think I said wrist gauge. Anyway, essentially it means that the faster you, or the higher your risk, the slower your gauge refills. And that is essentially an aggro meter. So the the enemy will target you and try to murder you. So, kind of important to monitor that and switch out when you need to. So current level will have an impact on your burst gauge. As your risk builds up, the speed at which your burst gauge recovers will be reduced. Risk will reduce over time, decreasing more rapidly when you are not targeted by enemies. You take more damage when you are at risk, so remember to always be careful. There are many ways to lower your risk level. Start by mastering the art of switching between Kirito and other party members to reset risk. Boost the effectiveness of your team's damage. Burst attacks, quick step dodges, use a skill, instructions to allies, and supporting skills and other actions. Protection prayer, for instance. Don't simply rely on attacking in battle. Learn to evade attacks, give orders, and use skills to support your team and keep their damage level low. Alright, not talking to us. Alright, I'm going to use the prayer of protection. Alright. And we did it. We defeated him. The beautiful chain of stuff. So one of the things I didn't like about this, and I assume it's not going to matter because from what I've read, you go all the way up to, I think, level 300 is the cap or something like that. And I don't like having that much information, by the way. I prefer to be surprised by everything. But you start off at level 100. Essentially, like I said, this is supposed to be roughly the end of where the original SAO ended. So where Sword Art Online ended is where this is supposed to be picking up, which I believe left Kirito at 96, but for whatever reason they just pushed him to 100. I guess it just made more logical sense to do so. So you start off with a bunch of skills and all the equipment and everything else because of where you're at throughout the thing. You're not starting fresh in Einkrad? Is that where we were? It's been a while. So you weren't starting at like level 1. I kind of wish there was maybe a DLC or something that you could have added to the game where you did get to start that way, because I think it could have been enjoyable, but with already having 200 levels that you get to grind through in the game, it probably doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And it lets you feel a little bit more powerful at the start. I have no idea. I haven't played a tremendous amount into this game back in the day. So I don't know if at any point you're like, oh my gosh, this is super difficult, and so on and so forth. Like, oh, I'm struggling. So I don't know. Maybe you stay at a reasonable power level the whole way through. I'm not sure, but I would have liked to have started at level 1. I think that would have been an enjoyable experience. Like I said, like a DLC that you could add and would give you a reason to play the beginning. Either play it as a flashback, as something. I don't know. Maybe people wouldn't have liked it as a DLC. I would have thought it was pretty cool. Maybe I would have wanted to play through from the beginning at that point. I don't know. Either way, start at level 100. Just to give you guys an idea of what's going on. Oof. Whew. Looks like we did it. That was a Skull Reaper. I've seen a monster like that before. It looked just like the boss on the 75th floor. But what's a floor boss doing here? That's a good question. Still, this one was a lot weaker than the one down there. If this one had the same attributes, there's no way the two of us would have stood a chance against it. Now, I know we weren't seeing eye to eye, but I'd really prefer not to fight you if possible. Do you think we could avoid doing that? I mean, if I've done something to upset you, I'm really sorry. So you're not one of them? Really? One of them? Who are you talking about? I guess you can't be. You can see it though, right? My cursor? Yeah, it's orange. Doesn't that mean anything to you? How could you be so casual about it? Well, I noticed it straight away, but it didn't seem like the right moment to bring it up. So if I ask you about it now, will you answer me? You don't need to ask me, I'll tell you. I killed someone. It's heavy. Oh, and for anyone who doesn't know what Sword Art Online is, a very, very, very brief, just idea of what is going on. Essentially, folks hopefully are familiar with what a MMO is, massively multiplayer online game, or MMORPG, right? Is the full one, massive multiplayer online role-playing game, right? So, in Sword Art Online, there was a new form of that coming out where you would go into VR, but the VR actually linked into your body, like into your consciousness. I don't know. Like, essentially, you would like just lay there and pass out, and your whole brain and body and mind, everything would like kind of be immersed into the VR MMO essentially. And when the game Sword Art Online went online, a bunch of people literally got stuck there with the inability to log out. So I guess the creator of the game made this happen. So the people that were there weren't able to log out, and there were announcements made across the world that these people were trapped in there, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, the long and the short of it is, if they beat the game, they got through the 100 floor tower or whatever it was, dungeon, and they beat the final boss, they would be freed. And that is essentially what Sword Art Online's initial series was all about. So this is happening after that, after they defeated the final boss. And yeah, so that's where we're at right now. All right. And there's a little more to it. So the other things I didn't say, sorry. I'm sitting here, I'm contemplating like how much to share, because I don't really want to spoil anything for folks that do want to check it out and watch it. If you died in the game, allegedly you died in real life. I think that might have been true. So they obviously were never able to come back. Nobody else is able to log in after the initial group, because it was like a one-time, boom, you're stuck into this thing. Or maybe the dangers were known, or whatever the case is. And that meant if you died in the game, you died in real life, or that was assumed that you died in real life. So you were basically trapped in this virtual world where you had to obey essentially the rules of the world and level up and do all these various things that an MMO would have you do. But of course, the ultimate thing being, you're risking your own life. And then of course, the nature of humans and lack of consequences. Several people were like, hey, this would be fun to kill people in here. So, I mean, you got to see human nature at its finest. Anyway, I skipped that, I'm sorry. So, I guess this is goodbye. Thanks for helping me out back there. Hey, wait a second. I didn't mean to skip line. You guys have plenty of time to read it, though. I apologize. I bumped the controller and put my hand back on it. What? Didn't I just tell you not to get involved with me? Yeah, you did, but there's something else I wanted to ask you. I really just want to know, where exactly are we? I mean, I know we're inside SAO, of course. I don't know where we are. I got thrown in here about a month ago. It's been a struggle for survival ever since. I haven't had time to explore or figure out where I am. A month ago? Does this mean... is this an anti-crystal area? But hold on, we can still use everything. Yeah, there's a lot I don't know about this floor, but at least it seems we can use items and messages like normal. You have a teleport crystal? If you don't, let me give you one. I've got plenty. No thanks. You... Hollow area data access restrictions have been lifted. What was that just now? You're... that... Huh? That pattern that's floating about your hand. When did this happen? It wasn't there a minute ago. Is this something to do with that announcement about access restrictions being lifted? Just who are you, anyway? What do you mean? Anyway, the real question is, where exactly are we? What the world is this place? I don't really know. Listen, can I take a closer look at your hand? Huh? What are you going to... It's the same, of course it is. The same? The same as what? That pattern, I've seen it before. This place that I know. Well, maybe if we go there, we can figure out what's going on, and it's not like we've got any other clues that to go on. How about we head there right away? Sorry, I mean... If it's alright with you, would you mind showing me where that place is? I guess I don't mind. But are you really so willing to trust an orange... No, a red player? Well, it's not like I've forgotten that you've got an orange cursor. But you helped me out when we were fighting that Skull Reaper. I guess that's true. Look, we put our lives on the line and fought at each other's sides. In SAO, I think that's enough for me to trust you. My name's Kirito. What's yours? Philia. Nice to meet you, Philia. What? I just can't work out if you're really friendly or really stupid. I'd like to think that I'm a pretty good judge of character. I suppose I should be flattered then. Now, let's get going. I'll lead the way. Alright. I'm here for it. I have a hard out in like 12-ish minutes, so hopefully we find a spot where we can stop and save. It's just down this hill here. Got it, let's go. I have no idea how saving works. I think it's all autosave. Let Philia show you the ropes. Finding your way. If you forget where you're supposed to be heading, check the exclamation mark on the holo map or check the event list. I don't know what the event list means. Boosting battle strength. Your quest is about to get underway and you'll be meeting plenty of potential partners. But to get things underway, let Philia show you how it's done. Okay. You can unleash a burst attack even when the burst gauge is empty, but it won't have nearly the same effect. If your burst gauge is running low, the power of your burst attacks will suffer. Okay. Even without pressing circle, you will attack automatically. So while you're waiting for the gauge to build up, give orders to your allies or use battle skills. Yeah, so you do auto attack, but I think you can't be moving while you're auto attacking. If you're moving, you can use the circle button to still use your attack, your burst attacks or whatever. But you will automatically attack even when you're not doing that, if you're not moving. And it is at a lower amount of damage, whereas the circle attack is a much higher amount of damage. And you chain it together for combos and such. You can give orders and use skills by pressing the different buttons while holding down R1 or L1. So L1 will bring up the good, replenish HP switch and use your skills, and R1 I think also does the same thing. But you can do speed demon, slow down, protection prayer, or lightning attack. With the face buttons, the other are the D-pad. If you hold both together, you get to do some giant super skills. But don't simply rely on attacking in battle. Learn to evade attacks, give orders, and use skills to keep your team's overall damage level low. Alright, and here we are. Able to control things. Apparently I have like a blood burst or bleed on me. I'll wait till that wears off. There we go. Alright. Okay. So we do that, and we got 132 experience. If we take a look, we are currently level 100. It shows us in the top right corner. And at the bottom right, it shows us under miscellaneous how much experience we have and how much we need for the next level. Alright, I'm going to use the sword. I thought it was. There we go. I'm going to try to use the sword art. How's that for teamwork? I'm with you. If you compliment the person, if they use a skill or something, they use it more often. Yeah, praise. Morale boost received due to praise. I dodged it. Stunned the enemy. Alright. She did sonic resonance. I'll praise her again. Quickly wiped out the enemy, and then she'll get some sort of bonus because of what she used. Sidestep recovery. Okay. So just occasionally as you're going through and you're fighting, press up on the D-pad, if you're using the controller, of course. And this is the PC version of the game, if I didn't mention that earlier. But if you press up on the D-pad, it will praise them, and they'll continue to get bonuses and use the skills and the things that you did that you praise them for more often. If you want to target someone, you can press the triangle button, and it will target somebody. And then if you press it again, I think it attacks with a ranged attack. Yeah, it's a pulling mechanic, essentially. There we go. I've got full risk now, so I should be the primary target. You can definitely aggro more than one. And if you do, you can switch between the two by using your D-pad right and left without doing anything else. Alright, I'm going to have her switch with me. I don't know why I'm not attacking. I was going to show... Okay, right here I'm not doing anything and I'm attacking. But you see it's significantly lower, like 187, 187. Or if I use the circle, it's 14. So it's not even necessarily worth it, but you do get to do a little bit of extra trickle damage on the enemy. Anyhow, we'll probably get to clear out these guys, and then that's going to be where I break it all off. Alright. Do this correctly. Oh, I didn't get good positioning there. Okay, you want to both use the sword skill? There we go. I praised her for suggesting and doing it. I'm not doing very good at timing my my parries there. Okay, not too bad. And it looks like as we defeat enemies near the end, we do get bonuses, like a health regeneration bonus. Alright, let's take a look at the map real quick. We move around pretty quick in this game, too. So that's kind of a nice thing. So if we look at the map, we are up there. Oh, and yeah, we move around when we open up menus. So it's just like we're in a persistent world like we were in the game. The menu isn't going to pause the game for everyone. So it's very... very interesting in that sense. Antechambers of the Sacred Sword, not where we're heading. The Bee-Dance Sprawl and the Offerings Verdant Guide are all the various different places we can go. But I believe I'm going to break it off right here for our very first episode. Super happy I finally decided to pull the trigger on it. I've been wanting to play the SAO games for quite a long time, and I've just kind of put it off. It's always one of those situations where I'm like, I want to make sure I have a lot of time that I can do all this and get through it and, you know, enjoy it. And honestly, with how I do things on the channel and the content that I put out and, you know, just how I approach content creation as a whole, I highly doubt I'm ever just going to have a gigantic chunk of time to just play through from beginning to end a lot of different games. Because I am covering a lot of different things. I've got to do it a little bit. I did it with Chorus. I did it with the Bard's Tale original one. And a few others I got to do giant chunks of time. Might and Magic Hero 6, for instance. So it does happen. It just doesn't happen as often as maybe I'd like it to. So we'll see. Either way, I am excited to continue this. Hopefully you folks enjoyed. And you're going to come along on this ride with me. And... let me know your thoughts. Are you fans of the show? There's certain parts of the show, generally the end, outside of the game, that I was very uncomfortable with and wish didn't exist as part of it. But, I mean, other than that, and those themes in particular, if you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about, I enjoyed the rest of it. So, yeah. And I've watched a fair bit of it throughout. I've watched, I think, the original 2 or 3 seasons of it, and then kind of a few other small things. By the way, stuff does respawn, as you're seeing here. So, if you are farming an area for experience and so on and so forth, you absolutely can just stick around and keep going. So, that's pretty cool. Anyway, down into that pit we will go in our very next episode. I want to thank you all for stopping by. I've had a blast. I'm super happy, like I said, to start my SAO adventure here with all of you. If you want more information about the game, where to get the game, information on the developer, the publisher, any of that stuff down below in the description of the video, there'll be various links just like there always are. And until the very next episode, I have been your host, Bumpy McSquigums. Thank you so much for stopping by the Freak Show. We play, we fight, we conquer.